let's do this.
Yeah. So first of all, is streaming your full-time career?
It did. It initially wasn't. It was part time, and then I slowly, I guess, it slowly shifted into a full time gig as I started building up my community a bit more, and people supported me well enough that I could make just about as much money as I used to. It obviously has, I'm at the mercy of, let's say, people's generosity and the ebbs and flows of people subscribing to the channel and whatnot. So it can feel a bit or like all over the shop with the income. But yeah. I've as of this last 12 months, I've shifted it into a full time gig.
Oh, cool. So would you say that like lack of stability is like it's fine for you in general, like you can live off of it?
Yeah, yeah. For the moment, I mean, my previous job was uh working uh in an office as a bookkeeper and doing some bouncing on the side, and I guess with the company I was working for, the hours were starting to get a little all over the shop anyway. So it was like, in a weird way, with the streaming, I was doing what I was passionate about and making more connections and getting more opportunities and seeing the world. And I thought this is probably a good opportunity, even if it's risky, just to dip my toes in and give it a shot. And over time, it's become a full time position, and I've made acquaintances with many people I never thought I would. You know, like I come from a very small part of the world in Australia, down in Adelaide. It's a very quiet town, and this uh, streaming life has led me to traveling to America a couple times. You know, that's where I met Sean QuakeCon. So it's been a fantastic journey, very strange one, but fantastic.
That's cool. Like who are some like connections that or what are some connections that you've made since you started?
A fair few community managers for game developers in the local region of Australia, and then definitely Bethesda at QuakeCon in America, and then the local crew. I have a very strong relationship with Bethesda because I'm very passionate about the IPs that they own, particularly the first person shooter ones. Um, yeah, oddly enough, a bit of a tangent, but I'm a bit into music on the side, and somehow through this, I got to slide into the DMs of Dead Mouse once and have a chat with him about some things, and it was just like it was a bit of a
Oh, cool.
surreal moment. Yeah, it was a bit of a surreal moment, thinking like, wait, what? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm not friends with him or anything, but just like we had a chat about something. It was just surreal, you know. Um, yeah. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of unexpected opportunities and experiences.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean because even for me, for writing this book, I've been connecting with, big people in the industry and like one of the coolest things was just like casually chatting up and, DMing, I guess, like artists of companies that I highly respect is like, holy shit, like how am I like just casually talking to these people, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, are there any like you mentioned that there's like doors that Twitch streaming has opened up for you. So were you referring to like your connection with Deadmau5 and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I probably uh, didn't push too much of like a business relationship there on that end, but I made lots of friends, lots of connections with people that work many different fields, and I guess because it's such a community vibe that you build around what you do. Some people are like professional gamers and they just turn the camera on and they just happen to have like a massive audience that will watch them do what they do because they want a tournament and that. And it's a bit more of a, I guess, like a sort of voyeuristic experience of them living a rock star life, and then there's other streams where it's like a very community based kind of experience, you know,
Mm.
and that's been my one over time. Like I played. I'm very passionate about Doom and Quake, and there's very passionate people in that community, and it's like it's a bit of a niche thing uh, in the Twitch world, the streaming world, but a very passionate group, and yeah, like I said, a lot of connections in the gaming industry from the journalistic side. Definitely that. I met a lot of full time YouTube journalists and magazine journalists. I mean, that's a bit obsolete, but now they it's all online on their websites. But yeah, and then yeah, the people in the game, the actual development, game development.
Has connecting with those people like given you thoughts about possible future job aspirations, or have you in general like thought, like Twitch is the thing that you'd like to keep doing until, you can't anymore?
Twitch is the general thing I want to keep doing until I guess I can't anymore. I'm very passionate about what I do. Um, I guess there would maybe opportunities to try and slip into uh, quality assurance in game development or community management. That seems to be a big thing with streamers that quit streaming or go part time. They move into community management for developers. So that's an aspect there that I've considered if I did shut shop. So yeah.
And something I was curious about is like, if you don't mind explaining for you, what are like the best ways for you to generate income or just make money as a Twitch streamer?
I've done a few sponsored uh, streams, but I haven't been too aggressive in chasing that because I've felt that me personally, the more sponsored streams I do, I feel like my community think I'm making a lot of money. So I just sort of I've been very lucky that they donate a fair bit to what I do and subscribe, and I think I'm just always very thankful to them. Not in a over the top manner, more of a genuine sort of like, hey, without you guys, can't do this kind of vibe I give them, which is true. And then I just try and keep what I call the CPM, the contents per minute high, and just keep them laughing and keep doing what I do. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah, it seems to work. I yeah, I try not to think too. I should, but I try not to overthink too much about the money side of things. Uh, I sort of have that maybe a bit of a bohemian go with the flow attitude to it, which because I think you must kind of have to embrace sometimes because there is a lot of you don't. It's like busking. You don't have like a strict contract where you're making a certain amount of money all the time. You know what I mean? Like subscribing,
Yeah.
like subscription counts can feel like that, but they vary because people unsub all the time because of their positions in life have changed. Money wise, financially. So people come and go.
Yeah, it can definitely be difficult, but also rewarding for sure. Are there ways
Mm.
that you try to, like you were just saying, that you try to separate like business from the job itself, but at the end of the day, it is like a business, And something I wonder about is like, do you, or just in general, do streamers like, do you make friends with audience members, or do you keep it more on like a business level where like once the camera's off, you don't really talk to them like that much?
I can't speak for others, but for me, I definitely made lots of friends. I guess because I don't have a tiny channel, but I don't have a massive channel either. So there's room to communicate and create relationships a lot easier. Like if you had 10,000 viewers in your chat, you like it does seem a little bit more impersonal, if that makes sense at that
Yeah.
level. But the level I'm at, it's still much more personal. And yeah, I've definitely developed friends, 100%. In fact, some of my best mates now are from overseas, from some of the trips I've made.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Another thing I'm curious about is like how similar is your like performing on camera self to like your actual self?
I'd say 90% of what I am on screen. I don't really put up too much of a facade. Like I try obviously I'm putting on a show, but and ham it up sometimes, but generally speaking, like I'm there, you know what I mean? Like it's me there.
Mm-hmm. Does your like stream schedule in general stay like constant?
It's it used to a month ago, but I've had some family stuff going at the time recently that I've just had to sort of I've been doing a lot of evening pop-up broadcasts and whatnot, but schedules are very important, and it's something I'm bringing back into my regime with what I do. I've been working a lot on YouTube stuff on the back in the background as well, so it's just more of a timing thing at the moment for me. But generally speaking, yeah, I do run a schedule, and it's very important.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that schedule is so important for like mental health. Like if you're comfortable talking about that, like have you ever had issues with like streaming becoming overbearing for you, or have you kept a distance from it to the point where it's fine for you?
Uh, yeah, I'll be honest, yes, but that can happen with any job. You know what I mean?
That's true,
I
yeah.
feel like I feel like you just have to live in the moment and kind of come to terms with the fact that you put your best foot forward and you do what you got to do. Like I said, my previous job was all because of the industry I was in. The contracts for the business were going all over the shop, and I was just like, this is out of my control. I'm working for this company and they're losing contracts, and it has nothing to do with me. So like,
Yeah.
if you take a step back and you think, I mean, like in the streaming world, it's just more or less on you to just really keep pushing yourself and have a bit of luck go your way and whatnot. Whereas in my previous job, I was at the mercy of my bosses. you know.
Mm-hmm. So it was like more of a desire to be just independent that pushed you to streaming.
No, I think it was just something I've always loved gaming, and I did it for a laugh, and then somehow it started gaining momentum, and here I am talking to you now, Emma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
It's funny how
funny.
the world works.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, how did you feel while that momentum was building, and how long did it take to realize like, oh, this could actually be something?
About 8 months, I reckon. 6 months. Yeah. All right, I started December 2017. I'd say halfway through 2018 was when I went, yep, all right, this is now what I'm going to do full time and push for it.
That's
I
pretty
guess
cool though.
felt like a long time to me. It's 2020 now. I don't know. It's relative, I guess. And it's not like I built like rock star levels on the platform or anything. It's just um I don't know. I'm a very lucky man to have been given the opportunities I did, I guess, and capture some lightning, in the communities, the game communities I was a part of, Doom and Quake, well, still am.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, I'm just keep going at it and developing what I do, having fun. I really enjoy it, and yeah, I just see where the road takes me.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I'd like to have very concrete plans. Um, it probably sounds like I'm not really planning my future, if that makes sense. But in a sense, it's like some things are really hard to account for. Look at this virus that's gone down in 2020. I know it's a bit of a leap, but yeah, like you can set yourself KPIs and whatnot, but it's not like you can go, oh, I'm going to do this and I know it will be viral content or whatever. Some things are literally just out of your hands. You do things and it takes you avenues you didn't expect. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like, content creation is definitely more on the, I guess I'll say, gambling side of the spectrum in terms of career options. You know, because
Yeah,
you could
it's
be like a business person. You can literally have, like, okay, in 5 years, I get a promotion of this much money, and then, like, in 10 years, this much. But then, like, with content creation, it's like, okay, maybe tomorrow you upload a video that gets, like, 10 million views, and it just sets you up. Or maybe you
mm,
just get, like, 100 views, as you usually do, and that's kind of the daily grind, you know?
yeah, yeah, and it's very saturated too.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah,
So this is something I've been asking every person I've been interviewing, and for you, you're a Twitch streamer, so it might be a little different of an answer. But basically, what I've been asking is, what is like a game that if you had like infinite resources of whatever it could be, infinite time, infinite work put into it, like what kind of game would you like to play or create? I usually ask the developers, what would you like to create, but for you, I would say it's more play. You know?
I guess Arena FPS, Quake. It's my favorite game of all time, but it's not a very popular game for all sorts of reasons. It's a hardcore first person shooter, and yeah, that's it's my dream game, pretty much. Quake is life, Emma.
Could you tell me a bit more about that one? Because I know about Doom, but I don't know about Quake.
Think of it as like Doom, but a lot more. It's a lot faster. So it's based on positioning, movement, um, all sorts of all sorts of action going on. It's players versus players. You got to do item. You got to control items in the map, time things, position. It's a very complex game to explain because it is kind of one of a kind and it's a niche genre now, unfortunately. Um, but yeah,
Is it
it's
is it like the
it's
fast Twitch games that you really enjoy?
yeah. The Nice skill based shooters, stuff that's puts your might to the test.
Yeah, when you were younger, like, did you play any kind of similar games?
Yeah, the older Quakes. Yeah. Yeah. I played Doom, Quake, because they've had lots of iterations over 20 years. Unreal Tournament. Trying to think what else. Yeah, Arena FPS. It's been my jam.
Yeah, cool. I was gonna say like Doom seems fast enough, so I can't imagine what faster looks like.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that must require some like serious hand-eye coordination because
Y- yeah. It
I
does, and that's why I think it's like it's something that probably in this current generation of gaming it hasn't really like taken off.
hmm.
Because there's like more rewarding games for casual play that doesn't require as much intense practice and stress, you know?
Yeah, I know. It's just like the high barrier of entry, you know?
Mm-mm. Yeah. That's a great way to put it. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of jobs like that too, you know, where it's harder to enter, but once you're in, you're just in,
yeah.
right? Yeah, well, thank
No,
you so
definitely.
much, Spud. I know it's complicated with the different time zones, but I appreciate you reaching out to me and making sure this happened.
That's right. Thanks for having me a part of it.